I'm talking to you about passionate performance. I'm going to review some of the material that we talked about yesterday, remind you of some of the principles that I covered, but in a very short way I'm going to give you a whole bunch of strategies that you can act on. So if all you do is act on what I'm sharing with you today, that can make a massive difference. And then if you go, wow, I want to go deeper, I want to achieve world-class performance. That's a choice that you have. You wake up in the morning and go, hey, you wake up in the morning, you are energized, your problems you love. Remember, what's the attitude to problems? I love my problems. Who's got problems? Who hasn't got problems? Come on, who hasn't got problems? Dead people. And those who, as David was talking before, those who have got lots of money but no meaning are rich and retired and restless. You sort of go, hey, what's the dream, what's the vision that you have for your life? I'm going to share some ideas with you on change. We're going to be talking about fears. And the most important thing, we are going to be weirdos. Okay, what's it like to be a weirdo? Give the high five to the person next to you and tell them they're a weirdo. Now, people reckon I'm a weirdo. Can you believe that? My wife certainly considers I'm a weirdo to be here with you on Sunday morning instead of sleeping in with her. But as I said, I wouldn't be sleeping, as I told her, I wouldn't be sleeping with her anyway. I'd be running the marathon this morning. So here I had a real conflict between two things that I'm passionate about. Sharing this message of passionate performance, of what is possible for you in your lives, and how that's going to impact on Australia's future. So that's what I'm passionate about, and I'm passionate about looking after myself. I'm passionate about putting myself on the line and doing difficult things. One of the ways that I'm particularly weird is that I gave away $1 million a year income as a lawyer. And people say, well, and to get some facts around that, in 1993, 15 years ago, in July 1993 when I left the law, my income was $250,000 a year. And roughly every 7 years, you would double that. So 250 would become $500,000 after 7 years, and $500,000 would become $1 million. And I was head of commercial law of the 10th biggest law firm in Australia. And these days, the big law firms, the partners are earning $1.5 to $2 million a year. I gave that away. As I showed you on the chart yesterday, my income went up, my assets went up, because my parents were migrants from Hungary. I was the second of 6 children. They didn't have any money. I started at zero, built up this asset base I built up this income to 40 because I found as my income went up, my spending went up. Have any of you found that? Was that, you have? Good, I'm not the only one, thank you. So my income went up, but raising 4 children, private schools, and then, so here I was in today's terms earning $1 million a year, and then I decided my income's going back to zero. And I gave the law away. And I gave the law away. Why did I give the law away? Well, I got sick of the lawyer jokes. I mean, when you die, they're going to bury you 6 feet under. But you know, when lawyers die, they bury them 12 feet under. Do you know why? Because deep down, lawyers are okay. And what do you call a lawyer with an IQ of 25? Your Honour. And what's the difference between a dead dog on the road and a dead lawyer on the road? Skid marks before the dog. Lawyers think they know the answers, you know. I told you yesterday, 99% of lawyers give the rest of them a bad name. But they think they know all the answers. And a Collins Street lawyer was driving up into duck hunting in a big way. And he was big 6'4" bloke driving his 4-wheel drive up to Mildura to go duck hunting in the wetlands up there. This is in the days when we had water. And he's driving along the flat areas around Mildura and he sees some ducks flying by. Pulls out of the side of the road, pulls out his shotgun and pow! A duck goes out of the sky, climbs over the fence, go to get the duck. Just then, a farmer, an old farmer, a 5'6" farmer, on an old tractor comes over the road and he says, "What you doing, son?" And the lawyer says, "I've come to pick up my duck. I just shot this duck." And the farmer says, "Mate, up here, the duck landed on my land. There's my farm. I own the duck." The lawyer says, "Sir, I understand the law. I shot the duck. It's my duck." I go backwards, forwards. And the farmer says, "Righto, son, look, tell you what we'll do. Why don't we resolve this petty disputes with what we call the Mildura 3-kick rule. And that's where I give you 3 kicks, you give me 3 kicks, I give you 3 kicks, you give me 3 kicks. Whoever gives up first can have the duck." And the big 6'4" lawyer looks at this guy and goes, "Yeah, okay, I'll do that." So the farmer gets off his tractor and he says, "Right, I'll go first." And the farmer comes up to him and goes, whack, and kicks him right in the groin. The guy's looking over the thing, he goes, whack, and kicks him in the head. And the guy's on the ground and goes, whack, and kicks him in the kidneys. And the lawyer gets up off the ground half day, says, "All right, it's my turn now." And the farmer goes, "No, you can keep the duck." Now, I have a simple thought for you on truth, oh weirdos. How many of you have had a coffee or a tea this morning? Who didn't have one? A simple thought on truth. If you can start the day without caffeine, if you can always be cheerful, ignoring aches and pains, if you do not need to be proven right and others wrong, if you can eat the same food every day and be grateful for it, if you can understand when your loved ones are too busy to give you any time, if you can relax without liquor, if you can sleep without drugs, if you can honestly say that deep in your heart you have no prejudice against any creed, colour, religion or politics, then, my dear friends, you will have approached the level of spiritual development of your dog. How many of you have a dog? And what is dog backwards? Aren't dogs wonderful demonstrations of unconditional love? I'm striving hard to be the person my dog thinks I am. Just think about that. There's another great line, that says, if you behave like a dog, if you came on something, you didn't know what it was, you'd lift your leg and wee on it and move on. And tell me, how many dogs are stressed? Not many. What a life. One of my philosophies, and if you choose to work with me in depth and come on this passionate journey with me, one of my philosophies genuinely revolves around worry. Why do we worry, weirdos? Why do we worry? You start to go, what's the point of it? And of course there is no point. Unless, if you're doing sensible thinking, good, sit down and think. As I said yesterday, thinking is the hardest work there is. That's why so few people engage in it. And most people, said Henry Ford, most people would sooner die than think, and they do. But worry, what does worry do? And people are consumed by worry. And I had the wonderful example of my dad for 83 years. He was grateful for life. I'm going to share a strategy with you that will increase your ability to be grateful for this experience so that when you wake up in the morning, it doesn't matter what's happening to you. It's a great way. It's a great way to live life. Now, your opportunity. Here is your opportunity to show off. And I want you to think about, I preempted it yesterday, what is something that is weird about you? In what way are you deeply a weirdo? And I want you to turn to the person beside you, and I want you to share one thing about you that you think is weird. Now, don't share anything that's going to embarrass you, because I know there's lots of things about you that's weird. I do. Is that true? But one thing, come on, think about this. Be willing to share one thing.